on digital radio, on the app, on your smartphone, on X, YouTube, and Facebook. The Sportscast. Football in general.
The update presented by the Sportscast.
Welcome to the Sportscast, January 6th, 2025. If you haven't yet, please subscribe in all our channels, YouTube, Facebook, X, and Apple Podcasts. You can also listen to us on your smart speaker. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, please leave a rating and a review. It will help us out tremendously. We're also on online digital radio. You can visit our website, thesportscast.net. Also follow us on X and Instagram at the Sportscast1, and check out our app, the Sportscast, in the iOS App Store. It is set. NFL wildcard is set. The seeding, everyone's locked in. Also, plus coaches getting let go. Not hearing too much from the GM area. A lot of them are safe. And joining us all the way from Northeast snowy Ohio, Dan Madden. Welcome back to the
Good to be back. Happy New Year, everyone.
Happy New Year, Dan. A little snowy up there. Is it? You guys are feeling the effects?
Oh yeah, we got about 3 or 4 inches out there. So just roads are a little treacherous, and kids are loving it though. We've been making snow angels and snowball fights and all that stuff, so they love that.
It's funny because I was talking to a Floridian who's never lived in the snow. She's like, "Man, it'd be awesome to live in the snow." And I was like, "I don't think you should say that because you got to shovel snow. You got to scrape your car windshield."
Mm-hmm.
It takes some work.
It does. It really does. And then, I was plowing at the funeral home and then all of a sudden I was cleaning the entryway, and then the snow came down again, and I had to do it again like 10 minutes later.
Exactly. Those are the type of things you got to deal with, and that's the patience you got to deal with. But Dan's not prepared for that. But anyways, a lot going on in the NFL. Top headlines. Let's go with the Browns getting rid of offensive coordinator Ken Dorsey, who's been a journeyman. He was in Buffalo a year ago. Now with the Browns, just for 1 year, got let go. Dan, is this the problem? What was going on with the Browns?
No, not all the problem. I mean, they got all kinds of problems. I mean, I think he's being a scapegoat here. Yeah, the offense was struggling when he came at the helm, but they had problems before he got there, and it's just kind of unfortunate that he's kind of taken the fall. A lot of injuries, a lot of quarterback issues. I mean, I wasn't really happy with his play calling. Wasn't happy with Stefanski either. But I think the offensive coordinator got fired, and then the offensive lineman coach. So we'll see what they do. There's rumors that Tommy Reese is a front row. He's a tight end coach. So we'll see if he gets a shot, what they're going to do. And will Stefanski continue calling plays? I mean, he did have an offensive coordinator before, but he still called the plays. I don't know why you need an offensive coordinator if that's the case, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah, and they brought in Ken to help out with Deshaun Watson, but didn't really pan out after all.
No, not at all. And now it just came out. I think everyone probably saw the other headline that there was a setback for Watson's Achilles injury, so he may not return in 2025. So that's big news. I mean, I think they need to just count their losses and either get someone to draft, trade the pick, trade for a quarterback. So we'll see what they decide to do.
Which is quite interesting, Dan. The Browns are number 2 in the draft order for 2025. We talked about it yesterday online. Now with this whole Deshaun tweak, which, wow, perfect timing, I guess.
Yeah.
What do you think can happen here?
Yeah, I mean, it's an unfortunate year to need a quarterback because, I mean, there really isn't like a home run quarterback this year. I mean, you got Sanders. I mean, there's some question marks. I mean, just the demeanor and the way, I don't know if we need someone else like that in Cleveland with the family drama with his dad and everything. And
also you got Milroy that just announced this week.
Yeah, Milroy. And you got Cam Ward, I don't know. I think if I'm the Browns, you need so many things filled. I think I would trade out of that pick and maybe try to get, some gaps. Or I think they should go a home run. The best player in the draft, Travis Hunter, possibly. You can play them both ways if they're going to keep the pick. But I don't think they should go quarterback at number 2, or trade it and try to get a veteran. Maybe trade the pick and get Sam Darnold or something.
Which he had a bad loss last night too.
Yeah, right, exactly. So he, is he a 1-year wonder, Sam Darnold? I don't know. But he did have a good year. So it's risky, and I don't trust the general manager to make a good decision with this because he hasn't made good decisions in the past.
Which he hasn't gotten let go with several GMs. So we'll see what happens with Cleveland. A lot of question marks. It's a fancy school. Ron Stefanski is still safe.
He's safe, and I think just the title of the coach of the year too is 2 years, and then all the injuries around him. I think they're going to give him another year. So we'll see. Looking at who they play next year, it's a daunting schedule again. So I don't really see 4 wins on that schedule next year. So we'll be doing this all over.
Yeah, correction. It's not Ron. It's Kevin Stefanski.
Yes,
I actually know a person named Ron, but this is not the right Stefanski. All right, let's go to the other one this morning. This was coming, Dan. You probably saw it coming. Jaguars got rid of Doug Peterson as their head coach after 3 seasons. Your thoughts on that?
Yeah, we talked about it on previous shows earlier in the year. Just that they were way, it's a bad year. You thought with a big contract to Trevor Lawrence, having a quarterback like that, you'd be able to get a string of wins and make the playoffs. So it's kind of saw the writing on the wall there.
Yeah, especially when the owner said at the beginning of the season that this is like the best roster he's ever put together. So it just did not translate for Peterson, who coached for the Eagles previously. But it feels like, I don't know if he'll get interviews this offseason for another coaching position. It feels like it's not that good for him.
No, I don't think so. I think he'll have a year off, and probably definitely not something for that he'd be interested in, high profile job, a coordinator or something. But.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. They usually drop off to offensive or defensive coordinator. Another news. This is kind of surprised a little bit. Well, not really. I've heard for a couple of days. The New England Patriots getting rid of Gerard Mayo after 1 season. He's been with the organization since 2005, and then Kraft hired him after Belichick, and he said, "I have a good feeling about this hire, just like how I hired Belichick." But it did not turn out to be good for Mayo. He had bad play calling, and he had bad press conferences. He threw a lot of his coordinators under the bus.
Yeah, it's it happened, and I don't know. Everyone says maybe Vrabel, but do they want to go the Belichick treat? Do they want to try something new? It'll be interesting to see what they go with.
Yeah, the top of the line, and I've been hearing from my sources, Mike Vrabel is in. He is the man there in New England. He wanted to coach there. He couldn't do that a year ago because Gerald Mayo was lined up for that position. But I think it would be a good fit. Vrabel has been in that building. He's played for the Patriots. He put on Patriots gear while he was a Tennessee coach. So I'm sure he wants to work with Kraft and everything. I think he able to work out with that team. Obviously, the talent.
I don't think you make this fire without knowing that you have your guy.
Yeah.
1 year that that you talked to Vrabel and it was a done deal. So you got the guy that you kind of really want. So I think he knows.
Which he was a consultant with the Browns. Did you notice anything?
Yes. Oh, yeah. No, I know. I don't know. I don't know what he was consulting. They didn't listen to him, whatever he was saying.
He was sitting in the office with Stefanski. I don't know what they do.
Yeah.
But anyways, we'll see what happens with New England Patriots. Kraft is he said previously he wants to be back in the playoffs. It's been a while. So I think since 2019 or 2020. Actually 2020, because they did go to playoffs with Mac Jones. So, but we'll see what happens there. Colts keep Chris Ballard and Chaikin will return. I guess it's pretty fair to keep them.
Yeah, I would say so. I know a lot of people online were calling for the coach firing for sure. He was getting a lot of hate mail and saying things, but I guess maybe give him another year, see if they improve next year.
Yeah, like the only
With the
negative.
healthy quarterback, I mean, if they get we'll see. I think he's got
That's
one
another
more year.
situation there. Yeah, with
Yeah.
the quarterback sitting out. So we'll see what happens there with the Colts. They haven't been to the playoffs since 2014, since Andrew Luck. So, which I heard, if Andrew Luck does well in Stanford, he could be the Colts coach.
Could
But
be.
we'll see. He has to go and perform well with Stanford.
Mhm.
All right. Let's go with the Miami Dolphins. Tyreek Hill, after the game, losing against the Jets, says he wants out of Miami. Very bold statement. He says that he wants to go to a team that goes to the playoffs, but this could happen.
Yeah, I mean, I think he got a little spoiled playing with Mahomes every year. I mean, seeing what they're
Big
doing.
time.
So you have one off year, and then you want to leave. So, it's not good to have trouble in the locker room like that. So we'll see what they do.
And speaking with the Dolphins, they're going to keep head coach Mike McDaniels and Chris Greer. So McDaniels had he had his contract restructured, so he was pretty much safe. But I don't know with McDaniels. Feels like he doesn't work well without Tua. Obviously, I know Snoop Huntley is not the best number 2 quarterback out there, but they got to find a decent QB2, unfortunately, because Tua
exactly
had a hip injury a couple of weeks ago, and like little tweaks here and there, like Miami needs a good QB2.
Oh yeah, they definitely need to get that for sure in the offseason.
So, but anyways,
maybe Cousins will go down there.
Oh, that's right. He is going to be a free agent, or
but will he want to be a backup though? That's the thing.
Well, yeah, which is like one of the things I think he's kind of reiterated in the past. I think in Minnesota they told him, "Look, you could come back, but you probably be that bridge quarterback." He didn't want to be that. And then Atlanta faked them out, saying, "Oh yeah, you're the guy," and then they draft Mike Penix, and like he didn't know until like draft night.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
So he's also of hellable. I could see him doing well in Miami. Not thinking about it, but I don't think he wants to be behind Tua. It'd be quite strange.
Right. Yeah.
But
exactly.
And some other news I've heard right before the show: Antonio Pierce is going to stay with Vegas. He said the rumors about him being fired was more of an outside thing than an inside thing. So Raiders, another team. They're not in that draft order, that top 3, but they definitely could pick up a quarterback for sure. That's for sure. So any more predictions? Feels like if all the hirings happen, we still have the Cowboys, and Jerry Jones could extend the prolonged waiting. What's going to happen with McCarthy? But you think Jones will get rid of Coach McCarthy?
I think it's going to happen. I really do. I think every year we sit here, this is the year. I mean, you just paid Dak all this money, and I mean, you had a lot of talent around you, and Dak got hurt and everything. But I just think it was a year that Jerry Jones obviously isn't happy with, and if he has the right guy in mind that he wants to bring there, I think it can happen.
All I can think is Coach Prime, but I think he might be too.
Yeah.
Not seasoned enough.
Yeah. Exactly.
Cowboys.
And I don't think he would take a step back for Jerry Jones. I mean, Jerry Jones doesn't want someone to outshine him with all his playing and everything, and so I don't see how that relationship with the sunglasses and I don't know.
And also Dak Prescott, he's definitely endorsed McCarthy to stay with the Cowboys and other teams as well. I think Micah Parsons said the same thing, but he doesn't like Dak Prescott. So anyways, a lot going on. A lot more NFL news throughout the week, but we got to recap week 18 and then we'll predict what's going to happen for the wild card, because I think it's going to be some good games here.
Oh, yeah.
Dan, are you ready to recap
let's do
NFL week 18? Let's go. Let's go first with Cleveland at the Ravens Saturday night game. It was a game that the Ravens had to win the the AFC North. Lamar Jackson threw 2 touchdown passes, and the Ravens won the AFC North the second straight season.
Yeah, I don't know. I texted a buddy during the game. I said, I don't even know why I watch this it just get my blood pressure going. I like to torture myself, apparently. Nothing else to do on a Saturday night. But, hey, they're my Brownies. I got to watch them. But, yeah, they hung around for a while, and they just couldn't get the offense flowing with DTR and Zappy. They gave him a chance to see if he could be anything, and obviously we saw how that experiment went. So they weren't able to put any points on the board, and I think the defense just kind of caved at the end there and gave up some more points. But, rough year.
Rough year for the Browns. We'll see if there's any hope in the offseason. Cincinnati had to win to keep their playoff hopes alive. Joe Burrow and the Bengals certainly look playoff worthy, but they beat the Steelers 19-17. They could have not done it because the Broncos won easily against the Chiefs. But the Steelers will be the 6th seed and visit AFC North Baltimore next weekend.
Yeah, and, I think, unfortunate for Cincinnati, they really started peaking at the right time, but they just didn't get any help. For whatever reason, every year it seems like they just start off slow, and they got to find a way to win those early games because they're playing catch-up all year and needing help. Pittsburgh, obviously, they still have issues. The last couple games, they just haven't been able to move the ball to get up points. I think they're going to have a tough time next week.
And they lost, 6 in a row already?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
It's pretty up there. But anyway, they play Baltimore this week. It doesn't get any easier. Let's go to Atlanta. Bryce Young passed for 3 touchdowns, ran for 2 scores, and led a 70-yard start drive capped by Miles Sanders' 1-yard touchdown run on the opening possession of overtime to give Carolina 44-38 win over Atlanta. And Coach Canales says Bryce Young is my man.
Yeah, no, if there's an award for the comeback kid of the year, Bryce Young is it. You got to be happy for him. Just had a rough rookie season, and he didn't get discouraged, and he peaked at the end of the year. And it gives Carolina something to build on for the future, maybe give him some more weapons, for next year. So what a great way to end the year for Carolina.
The Oilers bull C.J. Stroud completed all 6 of his passes for 50 yards and a touchdown Sunday for the Texans' opening drive before going to the bench as Houston snapped a 2-game skid to a 23-14 victory over the Tennessee Titans. Texans are also avoided being swept by the team they replaced in Houston.
Yeah, a lot of these games this week were obviously a lot of backups playing, but CJ played great when he got in, and we'll see what Tennessee does with the first pick. Probably quarterback.
It looks like quarterback because they're not happy with Will Levis or Mason Rudolph.
Yeah.
Philadelphia also played with their backups. Tanner McKee threw for 269 yards and 2 touchdowns in a game full of backups to help the Eagles tune up for the postseason with a 20-13 victory over the Giants. I thought the Giants had a chance to win this game.
Yeah, they did, but McKee, he played great, just coming off the bench to put up those kind of numbers. Definitely impressive to get the win.
Quite something. No Barkley record breaking. He sat out as well. Indianapolis, Jonathan Taylor rushed for 177 yards Sunday, including 33 yards on 6 straight carries in overtime to set up Matt Gay's go-ahead 38 field goal, and the Colts ended with a season with a 26-23 victory over the Jaguars, who fired the coach the next day.
Yeah, it was a good way to end the season on a positive note for Indy, giving their coaches another year. And hopefully they can do something at Jacksonville. We'll see what they do with the coach.
Where's Marcus Mariota? He's with the Commanders. He threw a 5-yard touchdown pass to Terry McLaurin, Scary Terry, with 3 seconds left, lifting Washington to a 23-19 victory over the Cowboys and clinching the 6th seed in the NFC playoffs with the Commanders.
Yeah, I thought the Cowboys were going to be able to win this one. They hung on in there, but Washington was able to pull it off, and they're playing great. It'll be interesting to see what kind of run they can make in the playoffs.
This game turned out to be very good. Caleb Williams drove Chicago to Santos' 51-yard field goal as time expired in a 24-22 victory over the Packers, who lost quarterback Jordan Love and wide receiver Christian Watson to injuries on Sunday.
Yeah, not what you want to happen on the last game of the year before the playoffs, for sure, to lose 2 of your stars. Hopefully they'll be back. I would think they would be. But yeah, no, good win for Chicago. I watched the end of that. You kind of thought that they shot themselves in the foot at the end of that game, but they were able to get another chance. Caleb drove them down, and it was like deja vu from the last time they played, winning it for a field goal. But they had it blocked the last game, but they were able to get this one to go.
Also, for this Sunday, you had to complete a certain amount of yardage to get your bonus, and that was Mike Evans, who caught a 9-yard pass on the final play of the game to surpass 1,000 yards for 11 straight season, tying Jerry Rice the most ever in the NFL and setting off a wild celebration following Tampa Bay's 27-19 victory over the New Orleans Saints.
Yeah, no, Mike Evans is a beast. Had a great year. Obviously watching this game, very salty. Talk about it all the time that the Browns had Baker and they let him go. Whether he'd be doing that in Cleveland, I don't know. It's the offensive scheme and the weapons you have around you, but he's playing out of his mind right now. I look at them to win next week.
Joe Milton, the third, passed for a touchdown and ran for another in his professional debut, and the Patriots cost themselves the number 1 overall pick in the NFL draft with a 23-16 win over the AFC East champion Buffalo Bills on Sunday. Shortly after, Kraft fired coach Gerard Mayer after one season.
Yeah, maybe he was mad because they didn't tank the game to get the number 1 pick. Maybe that's why he got fired.
That could have triggered it.
I mean, they got the win and fired the coach.
Exactly. This game was pivotal for the Chargers because they can secure a 4th seed. Justin Herbert passed for 346 yards and 2 touchdowns, and the Los Angeles Chargers secured the 5th seed, in the AFC playoffs with a 34-20 victory Sunday over the Las Vegas Raiders.
Yeah, no, Justin Herbert had just played out of his mind. I mean, like I said, almost 350 yards, 2 touchdowns. And Las Vegas, just can't get enough points to be able to match that.
The Cardinals' final passing touchdown of the season was perfectly placed by Kyler Murray to rookie Marvin Harrison Jr., a 12-yard strike in the 4th quarter that sealed their 47-24 win over the San Francisco 49ers on Sunday. Good season for Murray, but did not make the playoffs.
Yeah, no, they definitely showed flashes to be able to put points together. I mean, Kyler Murray had an up-and-down year. Shocked that they didn't make the playoffs, but good game for him this game.
The game that I was going to look at, but did not. Kansas City Chiefs did not help me, or Carson Wentz.
Yeah.
Rookie Bo Nix set a franchise record by completing his first 18 passes, and the Broncos ended on an 8-year playoff drought Sunday with 34-0 rout of the Kansas City Chiefs bevy of backups.
Yeah, so there's a lot of chatter online that Kansas City intentionally lost this game so that they can knock the Bengals out of the playoffs and not have to play them. So that's the chatter, and there's a lot of chatter that, without Kelsey and Mahomes, this team's nothing and all that. So there's a lot going on there. But Bo Nix, I mean, him and Sutton are going to be something special to watch in the years to come. I mean, they're gelling, and I think they could be a dark horse, no pun intended, in the playoffs.
Yeah, quite something. We'll see what happens there. Seattle, Geno Smith passed for 223 yards and threw his career best 4th touchdown pass to Noah Fant with 3 minutes and 19 seconds to play. And the Seattle Seahawks finished their 12th winning season in 13 years with the 30-25 victory over the playoff-bound Los Angeles Rams on Sunday.
Yeah, Geno had a great game. He's peaking at the right time. Jimmy Garoppolo did pretty good too in the losing effort as well, 300 yards. So good to see him do that.
Not bad. He can move somewhere.
Yeah. Yep.
Let's go to New York. This could be Aaron Rodgers' last game. He threw a season high 4 touchdown passes, becoming the 5th player to throw 500 career regular season touchdown passes in what could have been his final NFL game to lead the Jets to a 32-20 win over Miami on Sunday.
Yeah, he had a great game, and if he was to do it, go out on top, throwing 4 touchdowns and getting a W.
We'll see what happens there. Sunday Night Football, this game was kind of hyped up. Jamar Gibbs scored 3 of his franchise record, tying 4 touchdowns in the second half, and the Lions beat the Minnesota Vikings 31-9 on Sunday night to win their 2nd straight NFC North title.
I mean, Detroit is playing tough right now. I mean, they have so many weapons. They're dynamic on offense. Defense is playing good. I mean, to shut Minnesota down under 10 points. I mean, that's the way they were playing. I think they have to be favored to win the Super Bowl right now.
Yeah, and they're still driven by injuries, aren't they?
Yeah. They are. That's crazy. That's a scary thing.
That's a scary thing. So we'll see what happens. They got a week off. The Kansas City Chiefs also have a week off. But something that we have to really, look at is the health. And Kansas City having an extra 2 weeks, Dan, could help them out, for this playoffs.
Yeah, absolutely. Particularly Mahomes with the bum ankle. That's going to help him. Pacheco, it's banged up this year. So, yeah, it'll help everybody to get healthy and be ready to go.
All right. So let's look at the first wild card game. Chargers at Houston Texans. First game of the playoffs. Dan, who do you think is going to win there?
I like the Chargers. I think it'll be a close game. I just feel with their defense, I think they're going to be able to slow Stroud down a little bit, and I see them winning.
Let's go to the other game later in the day. Steelers at the Ravens. Steelers have been a little bit on the losing skid a bit, but the Ravens, they had a bye last year. This time they don't. What do you see happening there?
Yeah, I think the Steelers are on a downward spiral in the last few weeks. I mean, their offense just haven't been able to get going. They're going to need a lot more than field goals this upcoming week. I really feel, maybe in the red zone, or to get a spark, maybe put a couple packages in for Fields. They did that earlier in the year. It seemed to work. So if their backs up or against it, and they're not moving the ball, don't be surprised if you see that wrinkle this week.
Broncos at the Bills. First time young quarterback. Broncos first time in 8 years. Is this a easy layup for the Bills?
No, I think it's going to be a close game, to be honest with you. I mean, I'm a big fan of Nick's, and I think he's playing great. I do think the Bills are going to win, but I think it's going to be a lot closer than people think.
It's going to be quite something. Let's look at the other game on Sunday. Packers at the Eagles. Packers, Jordan Love might be a little bit shaken up. His throwing hand and shoulder is a little bit messed up. Eagles got everything rested. I'm not sure if Jalen Hurts will be around, but it's quite possible. Who do you have for that matchup?
I think the Eagles are going to win, playing at home. They're rested. I just like them in this matchup.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. I think Eagles are really favored for that one, so we'll see what happens. Let's go to the other game later on. Commanders at Tampa. This might be one of the closest games that day. What do you think's going to happen there?
I think Baker's going to make one more play than what's his name? Name escapes me. Quarterback.
Jaden.
Yeah, Jaden Daniels. That's it. Yeah, Daniels.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a great. Yeah, it's going to be a great quarterback duo. I just think Baker a little more experience. I think he's going to make one more play. Bigger weapon with Mike Evans as well with the receiver. I think he'll have a big game. But this is going to be probably one of the best games next weekend.
another good game, but it'll be on Monday night. The Minnesota at the LA Rams. This is going to be quite interesting. Minnesota had a great streak, lost against the Lions. We saw some weaknesses there. The Rams are on the streak. They got momentum. Who do you have for that matchup?
I was a little surprised the way Minnesota played this past week. I just, they're on a downward streak after that game. I think they're going to lose this game.
Well, I think I got a feeling that LA could win that game.
Yeah.
Or Minnesota. It's a bit of a toss-up. I do think Washington, that Tampa Bay might be a little bit of a toss-up, but you're right. You convinced me with the Baker Mayfield experience. They kind of started slow with the Saints, but Saints is kind of still their kryptonite. And then in the AFC, it feels like it's very predictable more than the NFC.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see. We'll see what happens. But as of right now, Dan, who are your two contenders for the Super Bowl?
I think it's going to be the Chiefs and Detroit, with Detroit winning it.
It sounds like it's going to be awesome. I think that's probably the most likely. I think the only team that can stop Kansas City is the Bills, and the team that can stop that can stop Detroit, maybe it's either the Rams or the Eagles.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Well, there you have it. NFL regular season all wrapped up. Now the playoffs. We still got some front office changes. No GM's gotten fired yet, Dan. Mm-hmm. I don't know if
yeah. I wish the Browns would fire theirs, but yeah.
He's been around for how
long? 4 years, maybe.
Oh wow,
4 years.
Yeah, because the Colts guy's been around for 8 years. He hasn't been fired.
Yeah, but hey, listen. This week the biggest game Wednesday night of the NBA. We got OKC and the Cavs. The battle of the best teams. OKC's got.
OKC's on a 15-game winning streak, right?
Yeah, so it's going to be a true test Wednesday night. So excited about that.
Cavs have been sitting at number 1 for a bit.
Yeah,
till I at least still like All-Star weekend.
Yeah.
Jimmy Butler for the Heat, that's looking a little bit stale. But he could stay or he could be traded. I don't know. Like for sure the Warriors don't want him. That's what I've heard, but
no.
We'll see.
Yeah, it's exciting though. I mean the Cavs are like 13 deep. I mean they can play a lot of players. So hopefully the national media will start paying more attention to them because they don't get no love up here in Northeast Ohio. So
and you guys don't get national coverage much.
Yeah, no, not at all.
We'll see what happens. Dan, what is the best way to reach you online to say, hey, the NFL playoffs is better than March?
March basketball. So you can reach me on X, Danimal2478, Facebook under Dan Madden.
And we'll be live tweeting throughout the weekend. You can reach us at thesportscast.net or the Sportscast1 on Instagram and X. This is the most exciting time of the year, I say. And it's cold, January football. And what can I say? The best live up. Dan, thanks for coming on to the Sportscast.
Yeah, that's right. Hey, and go Irish.
That's right. What's your predictions for those before we go?
I think it's going to be Ohio State and the Irish in the national championship. And the way Ohio State's playing, I mean, you got to give the edge to them. I mean, they're playing out of their mind with Jeremiah Smith. I mean, he's a number 1 draft pick right now, a freshman. I mean, he's unreal. So he's going to be hard to stop.
And I agree. Notre Dame has momentum on their side. So I think they might go all the way. So we'll see what happens. I like those 2 picks, Ohio and Notre Dame, the Midwest showdown. Dan, thanks for coming on to the Sportscast.
All right.